And I'm here to ask you to support Senate Bill 612, and I want to tell you why it's important. Senate Bill 612 would give schools and teachers the tools to recognize and diagnose dyslexia and visual processing disorders so that they can learn how to teach children. We talk a lot about testing and high-stakes testing, and as someone who does not test well, I can tell you that the way we test does not necessarily tell us what a child knows. But if we can have screening when a child is in first grade and understand what their issues are and how they learn and give that information back to teachers, then teachers can teach children in the way that they learn. I myself am dyslexic, and I didn't find out what the problem was until I was 46 and in this building. What I knew was, what I felt was that I just wasn't as smart as everybody else. In second grade, my teacher, I remember Sister Marie Louise, put a turtle up on the wall with my name on it because I couldn't write and finish the assignments as fast as the other kids. I am 51, and I remember that. In seventh grade, the first time we would have to stand up and do a spelling bee, and I remember the first time I didn't come in last. I came in second to last, and everyone clapped. And when we would prep for math tests and college prep classes, the teacher would tell me to put my head on the desk because I wasn't college material, because I wasn't smart enough. That's what I heard. I stopped trying. I stopped going to classes. I stopped going to school. It took me 5 years to graduate from high school. I was in the resource room, and a teacher said, you know, let's sign you up for college prep classes. And I said to her what I heard so many times, I'm not college material. I'm not smart enough for that. And she said, you're plenty smart. You just learn differently. You have to work harder. So I knew I had to work harder, and I can work hard. So I made it through college, and I took political science because it was the only major that I didn't have to take math. I had to take one math class, Algebra 1, and it took me 3 times to get through. So, you know, if it weren't for that, you know, I wouldn't be here. I'd be doing something else. I didn't go to law school because I was afraid of taking the LSATs, and I didn't think that I could do it. I ended up in a job in sales, doing international sales in the outdoor industry. It was fantastic, and I could do currency exchanges in my head, but my expense report, it would take me 5 hours to do an expense report because of the numbers. But I never wanted to tell anybody. I was ashamed. So when I got appointed to this position, I was trying to read the bills, and I remember trying to read a bill in my committee, and I read the first page 18 times, and I couldn't get it, and I burst into tears and called a friend of mine, Judge Ann Aiken, who works with the reentry program, and I said, I can't do this. I'm not smart enough. I can't read the bills. And I don't want anybody to know that I'm not smart enough. And she said, you're plenty smart. Go and see this woman I work with, Diane Hochstein. She does testing, and I did. And she said that I recognize letters at the level of a second grader. I don't see all the letters. She said, you see 3/4 of the letters. And here's what you can do to make it so that you can read better. And she said, you read people, and what you need to do is make sure that the letters are big enough, that you have summaries, that you can talk things through, and these are the accommodations you can use. And when she did that, I actually could read. I could read the things that were in front of me. I could understand, and for the first time in my life, at 46, I didn't feel like I wasn't smart enough to be in the rooms that I was in. And I've been in a lot of rooms. I mean, I was the chairperson of the Export Council. I've been, you know, lead salesperson, and I've had a successful business career, but I've always felt like somebody was going to find out, tap me on the shoulder and say, you don't belong here because you're not as smart as anyone else. And I don't feel that way. But that was at 46. That should have been in first grade. If that had happened in first grade, then who knows where I could be. But I feel like, in my belief, is that God has a plan for me, and I'm where I'm supposed to be. And I'm here because I need to be that voice. I need to be that voice for every kid who really is smart enough but just learns differently. And so if we can save, you know, we would save a lot of money if we could just find out how children learn. Why, if we're going to test them, why not test them for how they learn? So then we can make sure that every child in Oregon exceeds the expectations that they have for themselves. And I don't think any child should ever think that they're not smart enough just because they learn differently. So please support this bill.
Any questions? Yeah.